Okay. And here we go. Hello, everybody. This is Jordan Palmer from the St. Louis Jewish Light. I am on Zoom with Adam Pascal, who is, of course, internationally known for his role as Roger Davis in Rent, among other incredible things on the stage and screen, and is coming back to St. Louis for a one-man show. And Adam, I did catch your show back in June. So my first question to you is, tell me about the quick return. Are we just great music fans, or tell me about why you decided to come back so fast?
Well, it just the shows went so well. I honestly I didn't know what to expect. I was, and so I was so pleasantly surprised at how well the shows went. So they were kind enough to invite me back so quickly, and so I can't wait to come back.
So last time, I believe you did 2 nights. This coming, you're going to do 3 nights: a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What can
Correct.
people expect from an Adam Pascal show? Tell us what it's like.
Well, I mean, I do a lot of storytelling. I generally take the audience back, sort of to the beginning of my career, and sort of talk about how I ended up getting started in theater, and my journey through Rent, and basically through a lot of the other shows that I've done on Broadway since. And so and I try and tell stories. I try and be amusing, and then I do my acoustic versions of a lot of these songs, and some other little surprises that I do, and that I do a few covers, and I try and interweave things to make it all sort of be cohesive, and try to tell some sort of story.
So you go through your career from Rent to Aida, through Memphis, but Rent. When I saw the show, it does sort of stand out. And my next question to you is that back in 2010, and I'm dating myself. I don't even know if you remember the year, but you came back to St. Louis in 2010 with Anthony Rapp, and you both played your original Rent roles. Roger, you played Roger, and Anthony played his role, and you basically it was incredible for Red fans who never saw you on Broadway. But now I've just learned that you two will be performing again. Tell me about that. And is there any chance that you will be bringing this show to St. Louis?
Well, yes, I'll start with the last part of your question, which is there's definitely a chance we'll bring it to St. Louis. He and I have performed together over the years, obviously, in addition to Rent, doing this live performing type situation where, he does his music, I do my music, and we do lots of stuff together. And we've done various different versions of that type of a show for a number of years, and we've gone to Japan with it, and we've been all over the place. And so it's been a while since we've done it. And we're both at a place in our lives where we're looking forward for the opportunity to do it again, because we both have the time and we both have the inclination to do it. So that's always a really fun show too. And again, it's just a lot of music, some storytelling, and then of course a lot of Rent stuff that he and I do together.
But it's just the two of you. It's sort of your show that you're bringing to St. Louis, and then you add Anthony, and it's just you two, no big bands or anything. It's just the
Well,
two of you.
that's the way that we've done it in the past, where it's been an acoustic style show. The show that he and I are going to be doing coming up in the future is has a full band, and so it's really the two of us kind of on stage the whole time with a full band.
Um, Recently, or when you were in St. Louis, you mentioned in your storytelling that you actually had a chance to direct Rent.
Yeah,
And I believe that's happened.
it has.
How did
Yes.
it go, and how did it feel to be, I don't, directing Rent as well as another Roger?
Yeah, it felt really great. I mean, it was such an amazing experience, and so rewarding for me on so many different levels. And it's definitely the first of many for me. Not necessarily of Rent, but just of directing. I feel like it's something that I've wanted to pursue for a long time. And I'm so grateful that my first opportunity to direct was a company of Rent. And it felt it was just I mean, it was so natural. Obviously, I'm so intimately familiar with that show. But I work really well with actors, and I've done a lot of teaching over the years, and lots of master classes, and I taught a class at UCLA, and so I've been working with actors for a long time, and it feels like such a wonderful next step for me in my career. And my Roger was amazing. I don't have nor did I ever have any sort of proprietary feeling over that role or any other role that I've ever done. Like I've always sort of, treated it as if, like it's not mine, it's just something that I'm inhabiting right now. And I feel that way even about Roger, like it wasn't written for me. I just happened to be the first person that played it, and so I always, and having worked with lots of actors who've played that part over the years, in various scenarios, I certainly try and emphasize how important it is to be your own Roger, and that goes with any role you're playing in any show, like
Sure.
nobody wants a version of what they've already heard or seen. They want you.
Without choosing one over the other, can you talk to me about the joy of performing on stage in Broadway, as well as the joy of playing something much more intimate like the Blue Strawberry, which you're going to be doing in St. Louis? I have to think that both offer you some kind of joy. So can you talk about them individually?
Sure. I mean, well, performing on stage with in a show it's very communal, and it's a shared experience that you have with the other actors on stage, and I find that incredibly gratifying and very uh incredibly natural and comfortable. It always felt like home from the first time I ever did it. Performing on stage in a more of a cabaret environment like what I'm doing at the Blue Strawberry, there's a lot more pressure in a situation like that. You are solely responsible for the entertainment for the evening. And so and there was always an aspect of safety for me in doing a musical, in that there was a small part of my brain that always said, well, I'm going to do my best to be good. I have confidence in myself. I don't think you'll walk away from this show saying that guy was no good. If you don't like the show, I can't control that. I didn't write it, nor did I direct it. So all I can give you is the best of what I can give you from me. And there was a bit of, there's some safety in that I've always felt. But again, with regards to the cabaret show, it's a lot more pressure. It's just me. But then again, when it's successful, it's incredibly rewarding in that way, because it's just me.
Wonderful. Back to Rent for a moment. What does Roger's signature song, One Song Glory, mean to you? And if you could answer for Roger, what does it mean to him?
Well, I mean, what it means to him is that he's dying. And so I think, I think, it's and so it's incredibly, it's much more vital, for him, because he's looking at it as, I want to leave something behind. I want to leave something after I'm gone. For me, it's that I don't think in those terms. You know what I mean? I want to create something, and I want, I have, I want people to enjoy it, and I want it to be all of those things, but I don't think of it in terms of like this sort of like what's going to be left of me after I'm gone. You know what I mean? And so I think that there's an immediacy and a vitalness to what Roger is trying to get from that, that, for me personally, I always connected to that song just because of the desire to create something that people connect to, and so that's where that's what I feel from it. But again, I think for the character of Roger, it's a much more vital and immediate and life defining, so he thinks, life defining. I certainly have come as a songwriter to realize that there's more to life than writing songs. And so but for someone like him, it's everything.
Thank you for sharing that. We are the St. Louis Jewish Light, and I know you've been asked this question before, and I know you were raised Jewish, and you've said you were proud to be Jewish. But what does being Jewish mean to you, and how has it affected your professional career, or in any way, shape, or form?
Well, I will preface by saying I'm an atheist Jew, and I've always connected to my Judaism through my culture, and and connected to it as a race, and connected to it as being part of a community and a group of people who have been consistently, over and over again, through millennia, beat down and risen up to to the top. You know what I mean? And so I'm incredibly proud to be part of a race and a community of people that that again have consistently, over and over again, shown our greatness. You know, what would the world be without the Jewish people? You know, I mean, there would be a lot of things missing. You know what I mean? You know, and so I think that for the tiny fraction of the population that we are, we've done some incredible things for the benefit of mankind. And so I connect to my Jewish heritage on that level. And of course, you know, my certainly my family growing up, we're not atheists. You know, that's something that I've come to in my own life. I was bar mitzvahed, and you know, and like, and it was very, the religion aspect of it was part of my upbringing. But you know, I've made my own sort of, you know, decisions and about the way that I feel about certain things in life. But and you know, I've always been very vocal about being Jewish, because people don't necessarily know that I am. My name doesn't sound Jewish, and so people don't assume that I am. And so I try and take every opportunity I can to remind people that I am, because I am proud of it, you know, so I think that's sort of like how I've always connected to it, you know, and you know, and I've tried to instill that in my sons as well. You know, again, I think that they are predominantly atheists as well, but it's very important for me, for them to understand and connect to their Judaism in the way that I have.
Adam, thank you very much for answering that. Last question for you, really. Is there anything else you would like to say to St. Louis before you come next month? Anything about the show that would be different from possibly the last time, different stories that people might want to come back and see you twice?
I think that there will definitely be some different music. I can't promise the stories will be different. I don't have that many, but there's always other songs. So there'll definitely be some new music. I just got back literally last night from Japan, and I played these solo gigs in Japan, and they were actually very different than I do here because of the language and the whole thing. And so I played some new songs in my Japan show that I'm going to now incorporate into my local show.
I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now.